Wait, is the audio good? Audio good? Do a quick countdown. I hope there's audio. All right. Hopefully, no, let's go. Sorry, guys, an emergency just came up in the other room. So the audio was good. You guys can hear the countdown, even though I wasn't here at the end of the countdown. An emergency came. As soon as I go live, my daughter goes, "Daddy, I go poo-poo." So, of course, I had to go wipe her. But anyways, all right, so that's what's going on. All right, let me get this straightened out. All right, guys, so it's been a while, right? It's been a while since we have done like a lot interactive live stream. I dropped that video on what I found on that patent. I've been seeing that. When was that? When did I make that video? Like 2 weeks ago, 10 days ago, something like that. Oh, here it is right here. Let me see. When was that? Is there a date? Sorry, guys. I just want to get this accurate. Yeah, so can you just give me a date, please? So for those of you guys, you know what though? This is actually, I think you guys should actually, anyone who hasn't seen this is gonna tie into this video. So I meant to actually start with this video anyway, so that's actually perfect. So I'll actually see the date. So April 17th is when I discovered that. I think it actually, the patent was made like right then. I mean, it'll show the date then. It'll show the date here. But all right, guys. So I know for those of you who might have seen this, but let me see. I gotta skip ahead a minute because I had problems with audio. Let me see here. Okay. Oh. Why is this not coming up right? Maybe I'm just talking here. Okay, here we go. Okay. So, Olivia. Stop. Amanda, it's like when she knows I'm live. Let's see. Are they not getting audio on this? Wait a second. Why does that keep pausing? Why does that keep pausing? Oh, my daughter's so loud in the background. So this isn't even playing audio. Why is that? How can that be? Stand by, please. Sorry. I'm so sorry, guys. Oh, you guys could hear that? Could you guys hear the video when I was playing it? This is gonna be a great show. I almost feel like I'm gonna have to like cut out the first couple. Well, then no, but then if I do that, the live chat doesn't show. So I'll just put a comment. Do that, the live chat doesn't show. So I'll just put a comment. What is this? Oh, wrong thing. Of course, let me get rid of this. All right. Why is this not coming up? Okay. I'm so sorry, guys. I don't know what. That's why I had trouble getting live. I'm so sorry. I'll try this. All right. That should be good. Mute the mic up. This is so weird. Yep. Deep. It's just played. Thought. Deep thought. Alright, I think maybe that is. How did I come across this? This is no BS. This is what I come across. So here we go. This is no BS. This is what I was researching. I was researching the multi-needle transdermal system because I was like, I wanted to understand more. I know a lot about like the cryptocurrency. I wanted to understand more about the exact delivery that would go into us in the case of a, VX that's supposed to be coming out, and it's not going to be like they give you. It's going to be like this patch, this multi-needle array transdermal system. You ever had like a transdermal patch? Except this one has quantum dots. Here's a little bit of literature on it. So check this out. So Microsoft patents new cryptocurrency system using body activity data. Microsoft has patented a cryptocurrency mining system that leverages human activities, including brain waves and body heat, when performing online tasks. So crypto system leveraging body activity data. So here's this patent, right? It's a brainwave of body heat emitted from the user when the user performs the task provided by an information or service provider, such as viewing advertisement or using certain internet services. I mean, really, it could be anything. Basically, that's the video. Your whole nervous system is being projected out in the form of data into these transdermal patches that then link up to the 5G and go out. And guess what the patent number for this is? No bullshit. No bullshit. This is 100% real. Hold on. Here's the actual article, right? Let me see if I can find it on here. Okay. But look. So the patent's always started like W and then 2020, right? /060606/1A. That is the patent number. The patent number for this. This is huge. I mean, this tells us not just, at the moment, everyone's thinking of the moment of the, that is the moment. That is the moment that everybody needs to figure out what they're going to do. Because this is really coming. You're going to have to make a choice. And I'm not saying that to scare anybody. I've already been over my fears. Trust me, I don't feel 100% great about it. But, through prayer, actually, you start to feel better. This is just, I'm not trying to, I don't want to do that, scare people. But this is, I'm telling you, I've been deep into this, and it's legit. It's 100% legit and 100% makes sense. And the one thing that I just don't understand, because this is legit, this is 100% the patent number. Watch, we'll search it. Wait, let me get off. I'm on images. All right, see? Patent scope. And I always look at patents all the time. I'm always looking through patents, trying to find stuff that's going to come in the future. You'll find it in the patents first. Especially something for a vaccine. And of course, who's behind all this? Microsoft, Bill Gates. This is all funded by Bill Gates, so you know. So here it is right here. WO and then 2020 060606. I mean, how is that even possible? This isn't me playing a joke on you guys. This is seriously the publication number. Look, that's it. That's the publication number for this. Cryptocurrency system using body activity data. So this kind of will give you an idea of what the beast system would be like, I guess. I mean, they're able to. So you're connected to the sensor, which is like I showed you, that the transdermal, the multi-array needle, quantum dot, and you'll have that on. And this is all it takes. Just put that on. And you wear it on your hand, it seems like that. It seems like they're putting them on the back of someone's hand. Sound familiar? And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. Well, for this, it's the right hand. But I think the forehead part has to do with how that right hand is going to basically not just to talk about like your heat, your body heat, your body activity, your heartbeat. If it's getting all that, it's picking up your brain waves too. It's reading your mind. And your mind is going to be connected to this thing. It sounds like seriously, it sounds like science fiction. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like I'm pumping out some science fiction to scare you guys. And I hate that it sounds like that because it's actually real. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. I don't know what version that is, but yes. So, and this is legit the patent number. So we have the cryptocurrency system using body activity data. Let's see. So this is how it goes. So the sensor, that would be like I said, I don't know, user device. I don't know what the difference is, but I guess just another part of the sensor up to the 5G. Cryptocurrency will come in as you're a good boy for the devil. And I guess you don't have a choice to not be a good boy. You're just gonna be I don't even know what type of world that will be because I won't be there. Not happening. The only thing I keep thinking about is like, what am I gonna do with like my family? Like I'm getting realistic about it. Like, if this is really coming, and they're gonna try to make it mandatory. I mean, this is just it's too much. What are the chances? What are the chances of all the patents? This one finally got that publication number, and it's the one that it goes through the hand. So it's a human body activity associated with a task provided to a user may be used in a mining process of a cryptocurrency system. So basically, anyone who knows about cryptocurrency, you go mining for data, and but this one, you actually, the human body is providing the data through one of these transdermal patches. We'll show you right here. Multi-array needle. Show you some literature on it here. Transdermal drug delivery, which would be the VX. Not only it's non-invasive, yeah, what an understatement, and convenient nature, but also factors such as avoidance of first pass metabolism and prevention of gastrointestinal degradation. Whatever, they're just gonna put a bunch. It's just, I think you guys, if you guys don't understand, let me see if I can get like the big picture up here, because I didn't plan to do a show, but how could I not share this? How could I not? Let me see if I can find like a good graphic. What's this? Microneedle patch for influenza vaccination. I shouldn't have said that, but see how that goes? And then it leaves the quantum dot. And you're planted, buddy. Red pill dispensary. All right.
As you know, minimal numbers were
All right. So yeah. So that was a video I did. Let me see. What was the date on that? April 17th. And in the video, it actually shows you how many people saved the document, how many people shared the document. There was 6 saves and 5 shares on social media at that point when I made the video. So it's 6 shares. I mean, 6 saves and 5 shares when I made that video. Now, the only reason I mentioned that is because I know some of you guys have been seeing, on other YouTube channels. There was a few of them, but listen, guys, I don't care about credit. Like breaking it first. It's always nice to break things first and all that. And the only reason it's nice, since I'm demonetized, I don't super chat. It's not about. I don't care about the money, nothing like that. I just want the word to get out to as many people. So that's why I like getting credit in the past. But in the times we're in, I don't care who as long as people are getting it out. So like for instance, like I saw it on like big channels like ODD, RFB, Anthony Patch. Those are just the ones today I saw, and then there was like 3 other channels before that earlier this week. They weren't as big of channels, but that's getting the word out. That's what I want. You know what I'm saying? So guys, I know in the past, like I've been like, hey, you heard it here first, and I would want credit if someone, but I don't. That's not something I care about anymore in this day and age. With everything going on, the things in the Bible are coming and mostly have come to pass. And if bigger channels can put it out, especially channels that I support 100%. I mean, like people like Richie. I mean, before I ever had a YouTube channel, he had me on one of his videos. I mean, I you know what I mean? I love Richie. So please, guys, don't go around please, just I want the information out there. Just share it. That's it. Just share that information. There's no way that's just a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences. I mean, if it's a small coincidence with a certain probability of being a coincidence, maybe, but something like that, it's astronomical. The chance of a coincidence, that patent number. I mean, the patent after that would be 06, 06, 07. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just too much. It's too unbelievable. And a lot of you guys know this, but they have to basically kind of like reveal to you in some way what they're up to. They have to like for instance, some people call it like predictive programming, and that can be used for other reasons as well, which is exactly that, to predict a program. And almost when it comes around, it's almost like desensitized, you're desensitized to it. But also, but that's the physical. From a spiritual aspect, you know, God creates Satan and his demons and his workers here on earth, which he has domain of, not ultimate, but for the time. They have to. I mean, that's like part of the deal. They almost like they have to reveal it to you. That's why their symbolism is so in your face. That's why like these Disney movies are so in your face. There's so many different things. These commercials. I mean, once you learn their symbolism and you also understand the Bible, you can't like it's like unbelievable. For instance, like I was just today, there's a million examples, but just today, what I put on TV, I was checking something out. Actually today and last night, I was going to watch Westworld last night and I fell asleep. I finished the rest of it today. Now, what I saw in Westworld was so unbelievable. It was basically like the story of what's in the Bible and playing out it's supposed to be kind of futuristic, but it's really only like, I mean, it's all technology that already exists for one. But in the show, everybody is using that technology to a point. Yeah, so it's basically like today's technology. It's supposed to seem future, but it's today's technology. I don't know if you guys know that show, but you know, like I enjoyed watching that show, just entertainment purposes. But yeah, you can learn a lot. You know, like a lot of people would say, like, you know, don't watch this, don't watch TV, and I agree with that to a point. But there's a lot you can learn because I've had people in my family who lately, because of things like that, where I pointed out to them or I show them a couple like red pill videos, and I don't mean my video, I mean like certain videos that do a good job of like putting it all together in like a way that just no people who aren't awake can understand, and it blows them away. They're like, "There's no way this is." I'm like, "This is what I've been saying for years. You've been saying you've been thinking I'm crazy. This is what I've been saying for years." And one thing that's happened with this pandemic, is that people, because they're home, they've had time, one, to be with their family and realize what really matters in life, and two, read the Bible, and also watch videos like mine, watch videos from any truther, and wake up. And if not that, just the current state of affairs of the world. It's like, okay, there is something more going on. And, you know, you slowly start to show them things and drop a red pill here, and then you kind of give them the whole bottle and they wake up. I've seen it over the past few weeks with many friends and family members. And now they're texting me all the time. "Oh, did you see this? Did you see this?" And it's like stuff that we all know, but it's like to them it's new, and it's good. And then that's when I start to say, hey, you know, maybe it's time to open up your Bible. And you know, like I used to have trouble like reading the Bible. Like I would never I couldn't understand it. I couldn't. It just was like another language, even though it was English. Then when I was, at least when I think I was saved, it would be things like I opened it up and like it would make so much sense to what I was going through. But lately, it's like I can just like read it like I can a novel. And then I got like this app, and it says in the Bible, those who read or hear the word. So I got this app, and it's really good, and I recommend it for people. It's called like the. Let me see, I'm looking at my phone because I really highly recommend this. I mean, I got people who don't believe in God to listen to this, and right now they are questioning, like, wow, like they're starting to like, they won't admit. I don't want to say who, but you guys could probably guess. They don't want to admit it, but I looked at their phone and all I see is revelations. What does this mean? What does this mean? So it shows me that they're listening. So it's U version Bible app. It's really amazing. You can choose any Chronicles, Matthew, Revelation. For instance, I'll just play it for you guys. I apologize. I don't know. There's a way to I don't want all this dead yet. I'll bring it up in a second. But anyways, it's an amazing app, and it's like if you, I like to read it and actually feel the Bible, but sometimes like when you're laying in bed, going to sleep, every night I put this on.
1 John 3.
Yeah, John
Behold,
3.
what manner of love the Father hath bestowed upon us, that we should be called the sons of God.
I just
Therefore
picked
the
this
world
randomly.
knoweth
I didn't
us
even.
not, because it knew him not. Beloved, now are we the sons of God, and it doth not yet appear what we shall be. But we know that when he shall appear, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. And every man that hath this hope in him purifieth himself, even as he is pure. Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law. And ye know that he was manifested to take away our sins, and in him is no sin. Whosoever abideth in him sinneth not. Whosoever sinneth hath not seen him, neither known him. Little children, let no man deceive you. He that doeth righteousness is righteous, even as he is righteous.
Now you see, it's like the way that they use the breaks and pauses. It when you're reading it, sometimes it can be tough. For me, it's not that tough anymore, but I can relate for anyone who thinks it is, because it used to be tough for me. But this is a great way of getting the word. I do recommend you also definitely pick up an actual Bible and read it. Because I don't know, it's probably fine, but I got like a kind of in the back of my head, like, this black screen, we know that there's so much evil involved with these phones. But I mean, at the same time, this is the Bible. So, they do the pauses right, and it tells the story.
He that committeth sin is of the devil, for the devil sinneth from the beginning. For this purpose the Son of God was manifested, that he might destroy the works of the devil. Whosoever is born of God doth not commit sin, for his seed remaineth in him, and he cannot sin because he is of God. In this the children of God are manifest, and the children of the devil. Whosoever doeth not righteousness is not of God, neither he that loveth not his brother. For this is the message that ye heard from the beginning, that we should love one another. Not as Cain, who was of that wicked one, and slew his brother. And wherefore slew he him? Because his own works were evil, and his brother's righteous. Marvel not, my brethren, if the world hate you. We know that we have passed from death unto life, because we love the brethren. He that loveth not his brother abideth in death. Whosoever hateth his brother is a murderer, and ye know that no murderer hath eternal life abiding in him. Hereby perceive we the love of God, because he laid down his life for us, and we ought to lay down our lives for the brethren. But whoso hath this world's good, and seeth his brother have need, and shutteth up his bowels of compassion from him, how dwelleth the love of God in him? My little children, let us not love in word, neither in tongue, but in deed and in truth. And hereby we know that we are of the truth, and shall assure our hearts before him. For if our heart condemn us.
All right. So, I mean, I think you guys get the picture. I mean, just the way, I just wanted you guys to get like an idea of like how it flowed. And for those who have kind of like a hard time reading it, you know, they have like these famous guys. I forget who that is. It's like a different person for each book. But, you know, they have certain voices that are soothing, and, you know, they do the breaks, and it helps. So I just wanted to put that out there before we started this video. Okay. So there's a few things I want to get to. I don't just want to say, I'm not just sitting here. This isn't, so far the video has just been whatever, but I want to show you guys. There's some obvious things that show that we, in fact, are in the end days. But I want to show you guys some things. There's a few things that I've been keeping an eye on. Well, first I'll start with some of the more basic. All right. No, I know we're Christian, but we've had, like, for instance, I want to make the point that not only is this virus kind of, you know, fishy as far as its timing, as far as the fact that it happened right before the Chinese New Year, which means that everyone was traveling out of China. China let everyone travel to the rest of the world, but not out of Wuhan to the rest of their own country. Bought up all the PPEs, bought up all the masks and ventilators, which brought a real tough job for Trump. And he's done a great job, despite the media at every turn trying to, you know, make it seem otherwise. I think he's done a great job, you know, of everything. And except, you know, there's one thing I didn't like just recently, and it's unfortunate because it overshadowed something that was much bigger to me. But first, let me get to this. So, as Christians, well, when, you know, this all it was declared, we all had to stay home. Well, depending on what state you're in, like in Massachusetts, it was before the 13th. But anyways, in most places, it was March 13th, right? Well, I mean, for the country, it was March 13th. Certain states, like my own, it was before that. But so what's that mean? Well, would miss Easter, for one. We couldn't congregate for Easter. And I hate calling it Easter because honestly, that kind of, some of these, it really bothers me. That's why, like, I was raised Catholic. I don't consider myself Catholic anymore because, once you start to learn things, you realize that so many things were changed. For instance, by like Constantine, and really, it's people. The historians say that he was really a pagan. He was definitely a pagan, but then he converted, right? Well, what historians say is he only converted because he kind of, wanted to be able, because he was at the time, Christianity was the thing. He wanted to appease to the people of the city of what's today called Istanbul. But in truth, most historians, I would say that he never really believed. He was actually always a pagan. And from that, we got all these Christian / pagan holidays. In fact, I would say more so pagan than Christian. I mean, you take Christmas, for example. Jesus was born in September. I mean, any historian would. I mean, basically every historian will tell you that. It was in the fall, and also, but yet you celebrate it on December 25th. Why? Well, because that's a pagan holiday. That goes for so many of the religions. That's Saturnalia. A lot of you guys know this stuff, but the whole thing with Santa Claus, that's really shady when you look back at the origins of that. And then even Easter, it really, and then the way that we celebrate Easter, it's just, and I'll be honest, I'm not gonna lie, I do the whole Christmas thing for my daughter, and Santa is coming every Christmas for my daughter, who last Christmas was still 2, about to be 3. You know what I mean? So on Easter, she's 3 now. She got an Easter basket. So I'm not gonna say that, right? That I don't like do these things for my daughter. I kind of feel weird doing it. But as far as like my personal beliefs, what I will teach her, when, and I mean, I don't know. Based on what I'm seeing, I don't know how much longer we have. But if I have the chance, I will teach her when it's the right age. But for that purpose, right? The most holy day of the year is when Christ rose from the dead for Christians. The most holy day of the year for Jewish people is Passover. The most holy day of the year for Muslims is Ramadan. So I just wanted to show you some of these examples. For instance, we had Easter already go by, we had Passover go by, and now it's here we come. It's about to be Ramadan for a month. I don't know how it goes. Maybe somebody could put in chat. I don't know if it says, I know it's a month long, but I don't know if it's like a Gregorian calendar of March type month or something else. But as you see here, as the world's 1.8 billion Muslims begin observing the holy month of Ramadan, traditionally and I used to have a really good friend who was Muslim, and that's what he would do. We used to drive around the country in trucks delivering fine arts and things like that. And he like could look a piece of artwork, how much it was worth. He was very valuable in that way. My father ran the company, but he was like the father. So I would always go with him across the country and do all these. And, whenever Ramadan came, that's what he would do. He would only eat, let's see, he would only eat like at night. Like as soon as the sun went down, he would eat like crazy in the hotel or the motel, wherever we stayed. So, first of all, they're not going to be able to gather, just like the Christians and the Jews. They're not going to be able to gather. Secondly, all these health organizations are telling them that they can't fast the way that it says in their Quran. So they can't fast. It's just you can't congregate in groups of more than. And I'm surprised they didn't say you can't congregate in groups of more than you can't congregate at all. That would have caused even more of an uproar. But because in the Bible it says whenever 2 or 3 people gather, like in the name of God, Jesus is there as well. Well, if we're not congregated in those numbers, I guess he wouldn't be there. I don't. I mean, then again, that's a little bit confusing to me because when I pray, I definitely like feel something. So I would. Then again, I'm praying to God through Jesus. So I don't know. I'm just kind of spitballing some of this stuff. But so they're worried about them becoming dehydrated. If it was the middle of the summer, it'd make a little bit more sense. But I don't know. I mean, this is about American Muslims. It's also worldwide. Like Iran has a huge problem. But then again, do we really know what's going on in Iran? Do we really know what's going on in Russia? Do we really know what's going on in China? Do we really know what's going on in North Korea? I mean, 3 days ago, we thought Kim Jong-un was on his deathbed. Now we're finding out that was all BS. I even believed it. I was like, you know what? I was like, first of all, I was thinking about it even beforehand. I was like, damn, North Korea. I mean, they're not going to let anything out. And they definitely, as far as I know, don't have good health care and don't really care about their people. That virus must be running through them like nothing. But then at the same time, knowing what we know and knowing what I've been saying since January 21st, when I made my video, I think it was the 21st. Everything you need to know about the coronavirus. I made that mid-January. Yet in February, our own congressmen and women, the WHO, all these, organizations, Democrats, even some Republicans, they all said the same thing. Oh, it's not that big a deal. It's not that big a deal. Trump closed the borders, right? I think it was the 31st of January. Everyone called him racist. You know what I mean? Yet, I was talking about this all the way back. I was talking about this way back. And when I watched that video the other day, because I was just curious, like, did I mislead people? But according to what is out there, I hit the nail on the head. It's a very accurate video. How do I How do I? All right, now I'm confused. It's just kind of taking me off. But you know what? I just want to show how this is one, like, and all I did was listen. I just listened to the experts. And just by doing that, I was able to get a pretty good handle on it. Everything from the incubation period to, I mean, just so that tells you that there were so many who wanted this to spread. I mean, the WHO didn't really say until, like, what was it, like March, that this was a threat. You know, Dr. Fauci, that the Freemason, and we'll talk about him too. Well, I don't know if I save him for a different video, but anyways, because I want to stay on topic. But then again, the virus is all part of this. I'm trying to look way back. It was a while ago. How long ago was that? Oh, it was way back, huh? All right, now I'm way too far back. You see, like, I started talking about it on there. Where's my video? There's another red pill dispensary. Wow, somebody copied my channel. That's funny. How did they get the same name? What's different? You can make the same name as somebody? I didn't know that. I'm sorry, guys. I don't understand why I'm having trouble with this. All right, come on. Yeah, so all right, so this January. You know, I'm just gonna give up on this. This is like I'm adding so much dead time. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just trying to show you guys. It's called Everything. Oh, here it is. So 2 months ago. Let's see, what's the day? It's January 20. Oh, 26th. That was off a little bit, but still. The last minute intel came in. So I just had to make sure that my ability, and I'm pretty damn good at that. That's one of my favorite things about. That's one of the things I bring to the table. Let's say is you know, kind of having the know-how to sift through the real information and the disinformation. And I have never seen a story with more disinformation than this, but it makes sense. And I was thinking only 3 days ago that this is a distraction. It's not even going to get bad over here. And it still hasn't. And that's still a possibility. At this point, there were no cases. The way things are trending, it's not looking good. And like I said, I don't fearmonger. I don't want anyone to be scared. People call me a fearmonger after this video, though. Ask for strength, but consume this information. I'm not scared. I've been researching it for 3 days. I'm more nervous that I don't put everything exactly so it's understood both in scientific terms and layman terms.
And skip ahead.
They don't live for the moment and the quick, headline and all that. They just stick to the script while others skip the scenes. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the way to be. My channel doesn't grow the way it should. Well, they're not going to let me grow the way it should. They know my background. But what matters is that you guys have the power. No matter how much they demonetize all my videos and make it so that I'm not ever recommended unless you're subscribed. That's why I don't want to create an echo chamber, but they almost kind of put you in that type. Oh, I see a couple new names actually, though. That's good. That's good. All right, so here we go. And yes, you're correct, Stephen Williams, about Mongolia. I read that too. I did not.
I was just saying it before. But the point I was making was that when you look back a lot of my videos, and I was saying this here, and here I am looking back, I said my videos age well. That's what I was saying, because it's not just BS clickbait. It ages well. Anyway.
That it? But that was one of the last minute things that.
Come on, let's go. I just want to play like a little bit.
Forgets its name. So, like I said, we're starting pretty basic. And we'll get deeper and deeper. All right. 2. The origins. Now, this is probably one of the most. I believe they were trying to look into things for biowarfare. And if you think that we don't do that, you're sadly mistaken. Many countries do that. Nominate their representatives, until recently. Now it's gotten a little bit different, but they're fighting for their rights, and I commend them for that. You can get enough information that you can start to fill the blanks with. There's so many things you guys are talking about, and this is gonna all be part of the show. You see Mark Knott's comment? If it's built. Anyway, so that's when he started getting sick, which means that actually he probably contracted it anywhere from November 23rd to November 25th. But it was just one guy.
Yeah, hey.
So they're not sure.
The stuff that they're coming out with now. There's so many things in this video that they're coming out with now. Anyways, I can't. I didn't realize how long this video was. But yeah. So I highly recommend you guys check that video out again. It's pretty crazy. Listening to that. But the point that I'm making is not, oh, wow, I predicted it all. No, that's not the point. The point is that how did the WHO, how did the EU, how did our own congressmen and women? I mean, Trump was considered wicked early on stopping stuff from coming from China. Yeah, I mean, if you do when you watch the video or remember the video, I was saying they should have stopped travel last week, but they didn't. So they need to stop it now. And it was, and then so this is the 25th, the 26th, and 26. So 5 days later, he actually did stop the travel, and he got a bunch of crap for it. There's a lot of great information in that. And 99% of it came true. So it's not like tooting my horn. Honestly, like even just hearing myself say like I bring this to the table. I don't know. I feel like I've been like humbled more since then. It's not about me. It's about the fact how could somebody with a laptop know more than the WHO? that tells you something. I didn't know more than them. They knew. That's my point. This was something that was meant to spread to the world. And, even on the 31st, 6 days after this, everyone, Trump's a racist, Trump's a racist. Now they say, oh, Trump has blood on his hands. I don't get it. I don't get it. But, anyways, that's going to bring me to my next point, because this is what I wanted to talk about. All right. Hydroxychloroquine, right? So I want you guys to see this. Now, first of all, I know that not all of you are into Q. Now, no matter what you think about Q, he puts out real intel and always has. I've said this a few times. He has put out certain things that I haven't seen since being a cryptologist in the Navy. You know what I mean? And it's like the type of stuff that you only do when you have a top secret clearance. Things like this isn't exactly classified, but how you do it is, but like, shorthand and certain code stuff. It's all over this guy's. He has it everywhere. I just say this guy. It's a group of people. But look, so like for instance, we'll just take it right from Trump. Now he put this out March 21st. All right. Which is, I don't know if it's a coincidence or what. I don't really like that it's the, I don't know. You know how all the pagans and a lot of the devil worshippers, they're big on the summer solstice. If you guys don't know about the serpent mound, the way that lights up on the summer solstice. Every June 21st, I do a show on that. I say every. I've only had a channel for 1 year, but like June. If you look at June 21st, I did a show on that. The winter solstice, that's kind of part of that period where they decided to make Christmas. They made Christmas at that time because of the winter solstice and the pagan holidays connected with that. The pagans were all about the summer and winter solstice. And then you have the this is actually the March equinox, March 21st. So I don't know how much I like that. But then again, he does a lot of trolling, or it could just be a coincidence. But let's just see what it says. Hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin taken together have a real chance to be one of the biggest game changers in the history of medicine. The FDA has moved mountains. Thank you. Hopefully they will both. And now there's actually some code here. This isn't as it seems. H works better with A. International Journey of Antimicrobial Agents. I've seen that kind of correlated to a few things that we're going to touch on as well. So I need to start getting the show moving because I've barely gotten into it. Okay, so that was put out March 21st, right? Now, the problem with, just so you know, the problem with hydroxychloroquine is that it is literally one of the cheapest drugs to make. It's so plentiful, so easy to make, and very, very, very cheap. Yet, it has been proven to cure lupus, proven to cure malaria. It's been approved by the FDA for over 30 years, and it's been around for like 60 years, 50 or 60 years. And every study that's come out, and when I say study, I mean actual clinical trial study, like a real study, had, I would say 100%, but it's like 99% or something, or 99.9%, because I know of one person who died. But you got to think, some of the people they're using this on, they're really old. And anyways, the only reason I don't say 100% is because I heard that there was one who died. But I mean, would you guys take those odds if you guys got diagnosed today? I would. And don't get me wrong. First of all, I do think that this is legit. Like, there is a virus, yes, but the inflation of the numbers. Someone with stage 4 cancer dying goes to the hospital and dies. They die by COVID. Like, it's just, there's so many deaths that are included in the overall number that really aren't because they had the virus. In fact, studies have come out, 86% of them are not directly from the virus. Only 14% of reported deaths are from the virus. So if you take 14% of the death toll and then find what that is, the percentage of the world or the country or a state or whatever you're looking at, you're going to find a death rate of 0.0 something, which is exactly what Dr. Fauci put in his the New England Journal of Medicine. He said 0.09. My calculations gave me 0.04, because one thing that I've always said, and now they're starting to say it, and I even say it in that video, is that there are so many people who are asymptomatic that they were saying before, yeah, there might be 10 times as many cases. It's just a lot of people don't get sick. I think it's more like 50 times as many cases. So, mind you, you have to take that number, the cases versus the deaths, times the cases by 50, and then find out the percentage of deaths. And that's of people who get it. So, I mean, the percentage that you get from a certain population is going to be the same. But when you find out the percentage, if you get it, I would multiply the number of cases by 50 and then divide by the deaths. And once you do that, it's pretty eye-opening. It really is. And it solidifies what I've been saying all along, that there's a bigger agenda. And we're seeing it play out. Now, back to hydroxychloroquine. And by the way, it's not just hydroxychloroquine alone. You want to take azithromycin or zinc. And I'm not a doctor, so I never give medical advice. But what I do is I listen and study doctors all the time. Just because I haven't been doing videos lately that much, I have been researching my what off. All right. So, I feel confident saying everything I just said. And I also feel confident in calling out these. This made my blood boil. And this is why I was upset with Trump, because first of all, at the press conference, there was the whole thing about that he's getting a lot of heat because he said something about although it wasn't as he said it. They took it out of context, kind of. But he said, if you were to inject an element from a disinfectant into the lungs, that could help. And everyone said, he's telling people inject. Now, that isn't totally responsible, but actually, he didn't just say that for no reason. The doctor mentioned it to him. Now, as somebody, and by the way, guys, I'm at high risk if I got the virus. One of my lungs, I lost half of a lung. And when I had that operation, they took out half the lung. And to prevent infection, they use an element that's in some disinfectants that you would find around the home, but they didn't put exactly like bleach in me or anything, but it's like a certain element that's in it that you can put in the body. And they coated my inside of my lung and where they stitched inside, all of that. They put this disinfectant stuff to kill any infections, as well as the infection that was already in me, the reason they had to do it. So there was truth to what he was saying. So he could have kind of gotten away with that. But then when he was sitting at the desk, he said, "Oh, I was saying that." So he would have been fine at that. I had an argument with someone today about it. I said there was nothing wrong with that. And then they said, "Did you see the video of him sitting at the desk?" I said, "No." And they played it for me. And he says, "Oh, I was being sarcastic." Well, I watched that press conference. He wasn't being sarcastic. So it's too bad. He shot himself in the foot on that one. Not necessarily the press conference, but afterwards when he said I was being sarcastic. He was not being sarcastic. So, guys, I support Trump. I'm all about Trump. You guys know this. But I call balls and strikes as I see them. And the reason this particularly pissed me off is because it overshadowed this, and probably by design, not by him, but how hard they are going at him with it. Because you know how it goes. Something comes out that's damning for the deep state. What do? They Here we go. Now, I want you guys to watch. Now, this wasn't just CNN. Oh, by the way, look, U.S. monitoring intelligence that North Korean leader is in grave danger after surgery. If you guys haven't heard, that was all BS. He's fine. So, I mean, at least that's what Trump's saying. And I do trust Trump in that way. So I want you guys to listen to this. This wasn't just CNN, by the way. This was also reported by MSNBC, ABC News, Washington Post, and New York Times. Those five I know for sure reported everything that CNN is reporting here. Well, I can't say everything, but the premise. They reported on this certain study.
Now, for the malaria drug President Trump has repeatedly touted to treat the coronavirus. A new study linking that drug, hydroxychloroquine, to a higher death rate among patients. The drug has been approved for coronavirus in limited cases. Medical professionals have repeatedly urged caution, saying, let's wait for more studies, more data. But the president and his allies at Fox News.
And you know what? Just listen to them. Pretend that they are telling the truth. You know what I mean? Just listen to it. Take it as if it's like actual news. Since it was also in the New York Times, Washington Post, and other news channels.
Aren't known for patience or for caution.
The FDA also gave emergency authorization for hydroxychloroquine. We're having some very good things happening with it. It's shown very encouraging very, very encouraging early results.
This drug that you and I have talked about, hydroxychloroquine, talked about it with Dr. Grace, it's already being used. And one patient was described as Lazarus getting up after he was like on death's door. And they started getting a protocol of hydroxychloroquine at Lenox Hill, and it's suddenly like Lazarus up from the grave. That's an actual case.
Watching people in the media talk down a potentially life-saving medicine because a politician they don't like has endorsed it is probably the most shameful thing I, as someone who's done this for 29 years, have ever seen. Hydroxychloroquine is a very safe drug. It has been given to tens of millions of individuals in the world since its approval.
We have
Even though you guys are like
purchased
all the way, like,
and we have stockpiled 29 million
you know what I mean?
pills
Like,
of the hydroxychloroquine. 29 million. A lot of drugstores have them by prescription, and they're not expensive. We're sending them to various labs, our military. We're sending them to the hospitals. We're sending them all over.
In their protocols, doctors have protocols for doing certain things. They don't even mention complications from hydroxychloroquine because they're so uncommon. On their web
Now, think about it.
the FDA is offering a generic
With this being such a cheap
guidance
drug,
to manufacturers
think,
on how to produce
why-
hydroxychloroquine.
why would these deep state
Chloroquine is something
agents
that
be
I
against
have been
it?
pushing very hard. I got the very
Big
early
Pharma
approval from the FDA.
is one of the biggest,
Planned. It's not
most
going
disgusting
to
industries
kill anybody.
on the face
It'll
of the
be
planet.
wonderful. It'll be so beautiful.
They don't want
It'll be a
cures.
gift from heaven if it works. If some other person put it forward, they'd say, "Oh, let's go with it." You know, what do you have to lose?
There's a lot of stuff floating around about the hydroxychloroquine.
Very good.
And the media seems to be almost rooting for it not to work.
Things are happening.
Ah, they ratted them out right there.
It's,
Wait till
I
you
haven't
guys
seen
see.
Bad. I've not seen bad. And one thing that we do see is that people are not going to die from it. So if somebody's in trouble, you take it, I think.
And it's being used worldwide. Yeah, and it's being used worldwide. This study done by a reputable center, double-blind, randomized trial, showed that there was an improvement in outcomes in patients that took the hydroxychloroquine. It's not a panacea, but you have to respect data.
In my open, I put in a sound of the woman who was a Democrat from Detroit, a Michigan representative, who said, you know, thank God for Donald Trump even mentioning this. And once I got on the hydroxy, I was fine.
Well, your open was spot on.
Is there something else
it's politicized.
in
No, it's just, come on. It's
Wait a second. Were you guys not getting volume this whole time? Hold on a second. I said no, and they played it for me. Because, by the way, U.S. also reported.
The FDA also gave emergency.
Oh, you guys got volume.
for hydroxy.
All right, good. You guys got volume. Sorry about that. I thought you guys weren't getting. Okay, continue.
it's like the never Trumpers. It's like, oh, if he's for it, we got to be against it.
I've seen things that I sort of like. So what do I know? I'm not a doctor. I'm not a doctor, but I have common sense.
Exactly.
Joining me now to discuss CNN chief media correspondent Brian Stelter and cardiologist Dr. Jonathan Reiner. Doctor, I want to start with you and about this study. Now, this is one study, and if my understanding is right, it has not been peer reviewed. But if nothing else, it should tell us we should not try to play doctor on TV, whether we're the president of the United States or we work at another network, that we should wait and study data. What is your takeaway from what you've seen?
Well, the problem is that we don't have randomized clinical trial data. This country has a long history of approving drugs only when the data that comes from trials which are designed in very careful ways to provide reliable information show that there is substantial evidence of both safety and efficacy. And we don't have it for this drug. Look, I desperately want this drug to work. It would be fabulous. And the president obviously is interested in a quick fix here, but medicine doesn't lend itself to quick fixes. We rely on data, and data where we randomize people to either receive a placebo or the active drug, and we don't have that. The VA study is a small study. It does suggest harm in one of the hydroxychloroquine arms, and really no evidence of benefit, but it's not randomized. It only had men, a relatively older age group, so it's not a great study, but none of the studies are great. So we really have no significant data set that really shows us whether this drug is effective, and quite a bit of circumstantial data that points in the opposite direction.
Points in the opposite direction. And Brian Stelter, that's the point about the responsibility of our business and the president, but if we can only speak, I guess,
You
I can
already
only
said
speak for our business. I don't.
the responsibility of our business. Now, what's the responsibility of your business, you mockingbird, fucking, talking suit? Is it to support Big Pharma because you don't want cheap fucking meds to help people? Or is it because the truth that you don't care that how many people have seen this video? And I mean, this is just on YouTube. This is just YouTube. Forget about how many people read it in the New York Times, how many people read it in the Washington Post, how many.
My reception. Look, I guess I probably need.
How did that come out? Just how many people read it in the Washington Post? How many people saw it on ABC News or on all their what's it called?
Precaution.
The FDA also gave emergency authorization for hydroxychloroquine.
I just basically want you guys to see this.
Reliable information showed that there's
Look at the headline down here. VA study links hydroxychloroquine to higher death rate. Meaning, if you take it, you're gonna die. They're telling you.
We rely on data.
You have a way higher chance of dying by taking this medicine.
Or the active drug, and we don't have that. The VA
I want you guys really to think about that. And really think about how many people saw this. And there's so many people who aren't awake who don't realize these things. Look at almost 1 million people saw this YouTube video alone. Let alone on TV, let alone, like I said, all those other things. Altogether, we're talking millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of people saw this.
Points in the opposite direction. And Brian Stelter, that's the point about the responsibility of our business and the president. But
the responsibility of our business and the responsibility of our business and the president.
We need more data. We need more evidence. But in anxious times, people sometimes do look to people they trust for guidance. And we know there was a run on this drug.
Yes, and the millions of Americans who use this drug for approved purposes, including my wife, people who have autoimmune issues and need this drug, became worried they wouldn't be able to get it because of the drug pushing that was happening on Fox News and from the White House podium. You know, the president yesterday.
Oh, now his wife can't get it?
He hadn't seen the report. And that may be because Fox News.
Why do you want your wife to get it if it's so deadly?
Narrative that was being promoted in late March and early April. But recently, Fox has moved on. They've stopped talking about this drug and the hope that it could be beneficial. They've moved on to other quick fixes.
And by the way,
pro-Trump
just so you guys understand, Fox News is also owned by Disney. So don't just believe everything you see on Fox News either. But there's a couple of honest, like, for instance, like, what's her name? Ingram, the Ingram angle. She's an honest, she's honest. Like, she'll have people on that go against the narrative. And, but don't believe everything you see on Fox News. It's still MSM. It's still owned by Disney. So I just want to make that point clear. But compared to CNN and these newspapers, I mean, you're getting much more truth. You know, but then again, I'd be careful with some of the anchors for sure.
This network, these stars, they think they're helping the president.
And I remember Tom Hanks' wife, Rita Wilson, came out
misleading their viewers,
and said that it made her deathly sick.
why would we ever think a Fox News
Yet
star,
she was alive to
any
tell it,
president,
wasn't she?
should be promoting a drug? It's outlandish.
Outlandish.
It is
This is
outlandish.
outlandish.
To be fair, though, Dr. Reiner, the governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo, a Democrat, did say, let's give this a try. The federal government sent him an inventory of hydroxychloroquine, and New York did a limited study. And then they've sent the results now of some patients, like compassionate care, I think, is if a doctor's having trouble with a patient, you ask the patient, nothing else is working. Do you want to try this? And it's up to the patient to do it. And they have sent data to the FDA now and the CDC. Because that was taxpayer funded, eventually we have to see that, right?
Yeah, and we will see it.
Oh, yeah, we will.
Several
really
good clinical trials that will answer the question, and probably pretty quickly. But there are all kinds of ways to use the drug. Do you use it early on?
Yes, that is the way you use it, early on. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit something about this VA study, because I had read about this VA study, and that's why I got so pissed off when I saw this, because the study was not like a clinical trial, okay? It was something that they gave to veterans who had it at the VA already on ventilators. So they're attributing their death to hydroxychloroquine when they're already on ventilators? Now, yes, some people come off of ventilators. I would say many, if not, I don't want to say most, I'm not sure, but I mean, a great amount of them die. I mean, that's the last step before you die is the ventilator. So it's like, just so you guys know, this study, it was, look at this. I mean, a study, no benefit, more, look at this. Hydroxychloroquine study finds no benefit, more deaths. How irresponsible. Now, some of you guys might be thinking, well, I mean, what do you know, Red Pill? Well, I mean, thank God that for Ingram, because she came out and she just basically told the truth. And I'm telling you, she told the truth because, like I said, I had already known about this study. And when I saw it, I realized it even said, this is not a clinical trial. This is just like, we just wanted to see if we could save some of the people who basically were on their way out. And that's it. And they, that's it. So it's pretty ridiculous when you think of it. So let's go back. I want to show you, I just want you guys to see it because this is important. This is just like I don't know. It's just like an eye opener. Like we all know that they just are so irresponsible. We know that they lie. We know that, but you know what? Like they just put so many lives at risk. All the people who saw that, they want the deaths to go up, 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 up. They want them to attribute all these deaths to Trump to win an election because it's the deep state and Trump isn't about the deep state. And I know some people don't believe that. I disagree with you. If you believe, I think that Trump is not down with the program of the deep state and their agenda. And it's pretty clear. I'm surprised a lot of people don't think the opposite. But I mean, everyone has different opinions. I understand that. I'm looking for Ingram angle. She lays it out pretty well. Here it is. All right, ready for this, guys? So you guys just heard all that. You saw those headlines.
Thoughts at the end of day 37, America in shutdown. All right, when we use the phrase scientific study in a headline or on television, it's meant to convey a sense of seriousness, of scientific rigor. And when such studies are conducted on patients, researchers must account for variables such as a patient's age, medical history, current disease progression, just to name a few things. Then the manner in which that data is organized, examined, and then reported can determine a lot about whether the study is credible or not. Well, a survey or study released yesterday on hydroxychloroquine for use on COVID patients is shockingly irresponsible. And as top virologists are saying, perhaps even agenda-driven. It was published in preprint form and not yet peer-reviewed, and it claims...
Who was that? The Michigan governor that made it illegal? I'm pretty sure. Whitner or whatever. She made it illegal. Oh, and Brandy, thank you for putting the PayPal up. Just so you guys know, just because they demonetized me, they demonetized a bunch of people on the same day. It was kind of a weird day. They did it, I won't forget, because it was 4/6, so April 6th, at 4:06. They demonetized, just to name a few, myself, Iggy, Richie from Boston. There was a bunch of us that got demonetized on the same day, and I believe same time. I don't know what time Richie was demonetized. But you know what? I commend him because he said, you know what? Screw that. And he's still doing his thing. But if anyone wants to donate and can afford to in these times, I'm broke. I'm sure a lot of you guys are broke. Things are tough. It's like, what I don't understand is the $1,200 that they send out. First of all, I haven't gotten mine yet, right? But I did call. They said that I should be getting it soon. Anyways, in Mississippi, $1,200 goes a long way. Yet in places like Boston, New York City, LA and San Francisco more so, like San Francisco, Boston, New York, places where the cost of living is wicked high. How does $1,200 would be half of my rent? You know what I mean? Like, how am I supposed to pay for food, my phone, the cable, all this stuff? It's unbelievable. And then it's like, oh, well, you know what? We're not going to charge you the rent. Now, it's okay if you can't pay. It's okay if you can't pay this bill or this bill. But the thing that they don't really say, and this includes those of you with mortgages that can't pay your mortgage, is that once that comes out, once this is all over, basically they'll give you like a few months, like 3 months. But in that 4th month, it's not like you stop paying monthly again. No, that 4th month, somehow, now you have to pay a lump sum of all 4 months combined. And that goes from everything from mortgage to rent to cable to, cable's not that important. You can go without cable. But, internet, obviously, I do need internet, I would say. Internet, your phone, all of that, you're gonna have to pay it all in a lump sum. So just to let you guys know that, for those of you guys that are thinking like, and I know that might make that's probably gonna make it so that people, won't donate because they need their money. But I don't care. I could use the donations, but honestly, number one to me is the truth and the people who are listening. And, I just want you guys to know that don't think that like, once this is all over, that's it. You know what I mean? Like you just stop paying monthly. No, you're going to have to pay a lump sum of all these months. So I don't know what $1,200. Yeah, it might go a long way in certain places. Like I said, like I'm not like bashing Mississippi. In fact, I wish I was there. That $1,200 would do me well. But in Boston and New York, San Francisco, and many other places like that with high cost of living, that $1,200 does nothing at all. So just saying, I just want that to be known. Now I want you guys to hear the truth about hydroxychloroquine. After seeing that, CNN's what they just said, I want you guys to hear what that study really was, how irresponsible CNN, MSNBC, ABC News, Washington Post, New York Times is, and that the president really is trying to help. But at the same time, I do caution, it doesn't mean that Fox News is this all truth network. It's not. They're still owned by Disney. They have definitely some deep state anchors that support a certain agenda. All right. So, but I'll tell you, this woman is not one of them. There's no Big Pharma has no hooks in her, or else she wouldn't be doing this video. So here we go. So, I mean, that's the thing. It's just a really cheap drug, and Big Pharma don't want that out there. So they have all their talking heads, pick something that wasn't even an actual clinical trial. It was like a study not meant to be put out to the public because it was done on people who are already on ventilators. For hydroxychloroquine to work, you got to take it not as soon as you get the virus, but once you start having symptoms, you want to take it in the first 2 or 3 days of your symptoms. So if you're having symptoms, which most of you won't, you know what I mean? And most of you will live anyway. All right? Because like I said, this is all overblown. Real, but way overblown. There's much more deadly things that go on all the time that we don't shut down the country over. Now, don't get me wrong, it does spread very easily. I don't believe it spreads airborne, but it does spread very easily. That is true. So I do kind of understand it from that perspective. But ruining our economy, I don't know. When you look at really the death rate. Anyways, back to we're talking about hydroxychloroquine, and this is right. And by the way, you got to take it with azithromycin and or zinc. All right. So here's actual truth. And like I said, I already knew about this study. It wasn't a clinical trial. It was a study trying to help people who were basically on their last leg with nothing to lose. It's not going to work that way. You got to take it with, like, if you start getting the cough, the shortness of breath, you need to take that within 2 or 3 days. So you need to get to the doctors, tell them that you want it. If you happen to live in one of those states where you have these evil governors, go to a different state. I mean, I don't know if you can, but the good thing is it's a cheap drug. So if your insurance doesn't cover it, I know a lot of us don't have money, but I mean, if it's a matter of life and death, even though it probably isn't, but let's say you have some precondition, you have diabetes, you have some hot stuff, you have, someone like me with half a lung, you have some these conditions that are going to put you at high risk, or you're elderly. You know what? It's worth it, and it's not going to cost that much because it's a very, very cheap drug, which is why they don't want the American people to know about it. So they're okay with with you and you and you and I dying so that Big Pharma can do exactly what they did with HIV, although there's a cure. And now I'm going out on a limb a little bit, but I'm telling you, there's a cure. Yet people like Dr. Fauci, they'd rather that those people be on a regimen of pills for the rest of their life. Look at Magic Johnson. It's just, I'm telling you, if you're not rich, you better be informed. And that's what I'm trying to help people do. All right.
Well, a survey or study released yesterday on hydroxychloroquine for use on COVID patients is shockingly irresponsible. And as top virologists are saying, perhaps even agenda-driven. It was published in preprint form and not yet peer-reviewed, and it claims to show that hydroxychloroquine shows no effectiveness against COVID, and its use could actually, according to the survey, lead to an even higher fatality rate. Sounds terrible. Well, that's when the headline readers who hate Trump and, of course, this network, that's when they pounce. Aha! Trump and some on Fox reported that patients were benefiting from hydroxychloroquine. Obviously, I was one of them reporting on that. And now, this study, they say, shows that hydroxy kills people. So
it kills people.
Not only is there no medical benefit, Elizabeth, this study shows higher death rates among patients who took it.
Yes, much higher death rates.
You're a piece of shit.
Harming patients who take it. Medical professionals have repeatedly urged caution, but the president and his allies at Fox News aren't known for patience or for caution.
They're misleading their viewers. Why would we ever think of Fox News?
No, we saw that. But anyway, and another thing, for people who think that Trump is part of the deep state and, it's just another, he was he's not really for the people. Well, just think about it. How long has he been? I showed you March 21st. He's been talking about it since then, and even before, I believe, and pushing it. Don't you think the president might know something that we don't? And the thing is, they know it too. There's just one problem. It's cheap. So apparently, making Big Pharma happy is more important than American lives.
Star or any president should be promoting a drug. It's outlandish.
Well, first of all, I'm stating the obvious here, but CNN has just zero credibility. One of their anchors this week just made a fake post-COVID recovery video. Okay, they have zero standing to critique anyone else's motives or trustworthiness. Maybe people actually want to help America. Ever heard of it? Well, the jackals at Media Matters thought they had their prey trapped. And now journalism is such a joke that even the Washington Post and tonight the New York Times reflexively joined the pig pile. It's just pathetic. Now, I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on TV. But renowned French virologist, Dr. Didier Raoult, released his own study on hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin just a few weeks ago. It demonstrated 91% effectiveness in more than 1,000 patients with zero side effects. There was one outcome that was not good, but in the patients that recovered, there was zero side effects. Well, today, that same professor, who's a renowned infectious disease expert, issued a devastating response to the researchers who looked at the Veterans Affairs patients. He said, in the current period, it seems that passion dominates rigorous and balanced scientific analysis and may lead to scientific misconduct. And this article, the study is referring to, is an absolutely spectacular example of this. The analysis of the data shows two major biases. He goes on to mention three. Lymphopenia is twice as common in the HCQ hydroxychloroquine groups as the non-HCQ group. And there is an absolute correlation between lymphopenia and fatality rate, which is well known. Well, that obviously would account for a higher rate of death in those two groups, which the anchors were so excited to talk about. Well, another reason the study is an absolute mess is that it appears from one of the tables in the study, it appears that it shows significant differences in outcomes, that hydroxychloroquine plus azithromycin was given after patients were intubated. Well, as doctors on the show have said multiple times, and as Professor Raoult writes, this is unreasonable at the time of the cytokine storm. That's after you got really sick, as it is unlikely that hydroxychloroquine alone would be able to control patients at this stage of the disease. Translation, the later you take hydroxychloroquine, likely the worse the outcome will be. So you shouldn't be administering it here without explanation, okay, in that level of the disease, that stage of the disease. Well, the Trump-hating morons were waving around this survey. They didn't even notice that, quote, incomprehensibly, the untreated group actually received azithromycin in 30% of the cases. without this group being analyzed in any distinct way. All right, newsflash. Azithromycin is also a proposed treatment for COVID with in vitro efficacy. Okay, it doesn't take a PhD in microbiology, guys, to understand that the group that was untreated cannot then be treated with meds that are actually, in their own way, perhaps partially effective as therapies. Even the Secretary of Veterans Affairs had to admit the weakness of this study.
Yeah.
That's an
The head of the
observational
VA.
study. It's not a clinical study. It was done on a small number of veterans. Sadly, those of whom were in the last stages of life, and
They were dying.
to them. We know the drug has been working on middle-aged and younger veterans. The
Working
drug
in
can be
doing what?
delivered to the city
Yeah.
of New York. Working in
It's
stopping
the guy
progression
who
of
they're
the
saying
disease.
So
he's
this
saying
begs
it's
the question,
working.
why did the Associated Press, one of the few truly professional media outlets left in America, why did they go with the story? Now check out its headline.
Big Pharma.
There it is. More deaths, no benefit from malaria. This is the AP. Do they have any standards? Surely they have some really smart folks over there who just want